There is a phrase in Islam so dangerous that scholars have spent 800 years fighting over it. Some calling it the highest truth a human being can reach, others calling it blasphemy worth killing for. Same phrase, just 2 words long, and it means something like this: only God is. Here is the strange part. The man most blamed for it, Ibn Arabi, may have been saying the opposite of what his accusers thought. And stranger still, he never actually wrote that phrase. He never used the words Wahdat al-Wujud, not once, in tens of thousands of pages. His students reached for it after his death. His critics sharpened it into a charge. For 800 years, a man has been condemned for a phrase he never said. So by the end of this, you'll know 3 things: what the accusation really is, the single verse of the Qur'an the Sufis used to defend it, and why even other Sufis rejected it. Stay to the end, because the defense turns on one image most people have never heard. Let's start with the crime. Wahdat al-Wujud, the oneness of being. On its face, here is what it sounds like. The universe is God. The tree is God. You are God. The sinner and the sin are God. And if that is what it means, the critics are right. That is shirk, the one unforgivable thing in Islam. Mistaking creation for the Creator. Don't rush past this. The scholars who attacked this idea, and some of the greatest minds in Islam did, were not fools. They were guarding the single most important line in the religion, the line between the Creator and the created. If Wahdat al-Wujud erases that line, it deserves every word of the condemnation. So the real question, the one this whole video turns on, is simple. Does it erase the line? Or does it do something the critics never noticed? Here is where it should stop you. The Sufis never said, everything is God. They said something 1 word apart, and that word changes everything. Not everything is God. Only God is. Feel the difference. Everything is God, pulls God down into the world, makes the tree divine, the sin divine. Only God is does the reverse. It says the tree, the sin, you, me. None of us has real, independent existence at all. Only one thing truly exists, in the full sense of the word, and everything else is borrowing. You are not God. You are barely here. That is not lifting creation up to the Creator. That is emptying creation out, until nothing is left standing on its own but Him. But saying it is easy. Can they defend it? From the Qur'an itself. This is where it gets good. The whole defense rests on one image God gives in the Qur'an. Do you not see how your Lord stretches out the shadow? Think carefully about what a shadow actually is. A shadow is real. You can see it. It stretches across the ground. It moves. You would never say a shadow is nothing. And yet, a shadow has no light of its own, no substance of its own. It cannot exist for a single instant on its own. It is completely borrowed. It exists only as long as something stands in the light to cast it. Remove the light, and the shadow does not die. It was never a thing in the first place. That, the Sufis say, is you. That is the mountains and the galaxies and every soul that ever lived, the shadow of God. Real enough to see. Owning absolutely nothing. Existing only because, at every instant, He is casting you. And the verse does not stop there. It says, "Then we withdrew it to ourselves, an easy, gentle drawing in." Even the shadow is not permanent. It is being gathered back into the one who cast it. So when the Qur'an says everything is perishing except His face, the Sufi does not hear destruction. He hears the shadow folding home. Everything passes, and there remains the face of your Lord. Only He. This is the move the critics missed. Wahdat al-Wujud doesn't make the shadow into the sun. It says the shadow was never independent of the sun for even a moment. And Ibn Arabi had his own 2 words for exactly this. The created thing, he said, is Huwa la Huwa. He and not He. It is Him, because it has no existence except His, and it is not Him, because it is only the shadow He is casting, both at once. That single phrase is the whole doctrine. And notice, it is the reverse of everything is God. And here is where the shadow stops being a metaphor and becomes something staggering. Ibn Arabi taught that God does not cast this shadow once and walk away. He recreates the entire universe. You, this room, every atom of you, brand new. In every single instant, you feel like one continuous person moving through time. He said you are being wiped out and recreated faster than thought, moment after moment, and the only reason you feel unbroken is that each new you resembles the last. You are not a thing that exists. You are a thing that is being existed, right now, and now, and now. If the shadow shows you the dependence, one more image shows you the oneness. Picture a single white light. Now put a great stained glass window in front of it. What pours out the other side? Red, blue, gold, green. 1,000 different colors, 1,000 different shapes. Now, how many lights are there? One. There was only ever one light. The colors are real, you see them on the floor, but not one of them is a second light competing with the first. Every color is nothing but the one white light, wearing the shape the glass gave it. That, said Ibn Arabi, is all of creation. Not many beings, but one being refracted through 1 billion forms. Your face, my face, every face, one light wearing 10,000 masks. And here is the turn most debates never reach. For the Sufi, Wahdat al-Wujud was never a theory to win in a courtroom. It was something a human being could taste. They call the tasting Fanāʼ, annihilation, not the annihilation of your soul. The annihilation of the illusion that you are a separate, self-standing thing over here while God is over there. In Fanāʼ, that wall goes down. A wave, for one moment, stops calling itself a wave and knows it was always only the ocean moving. It does not become the ocean. It realizes it was never anything else. This is what a Sufi means when he says, only God is. Not a claim he read. A thing he saw when the I got out of the way. Now I have to be honest with you, because a channel that only argues one side is not worth your time. Not every Sufi accepted this. Some of the greatest, and one in particular, the reformer Ahmad Sirhindi, looked at Wahdat al-Wujud and said, this is a station, not the final truth. His answer was Wahdat al-shuhūd, the oneness of witnessing. He agreed the seeker experiences everything as one, but he said that oneness is what it feels like from inside the vision, not a literal statement about reality. The creature stays a creature, the creator stays the creator. The servant only perceives them as one in the overwhelming of love. To Sirhindi, saying only God is was true as an experience and dangerous as a doctrine. And that distinction between what the heart tastes and what the tongue is allowed to declare is exactly the safeguard the critics were protecting. So, back to where we began. The same phrase, heresy or the summit of faith. Here is the honest answer. As a doctrine you assert, flattened into the universe is God. Yes, it is dangerous, and the critics were right to guard the line. But as the Sufis actually meant it, only God has real, independent being, and everything else is his shadow, his refracted light. It is not the erasing of Tawheed. It is Tawheed taken to the edge of what language can hold. That is why Ibn Arabi may have been saying the opposite of what his accusers heard. They thought he was pulling God down into the world. He was doing the reverse, dissolving the world into God, until the only thing left standing anywhere in existence was the face that never perishes. And this is not an abstraction happening to philosophers 8 centuries ago. It is a claim about you, right now, that your existence is not something you own, that you are being held in being, this second, the way a shadow is held by the thing that casts it, the way a color is held by the light. Nothing of you stands on its own. You are, at every instant, on loan. The Sufis did not fear that. They fell in love with it. Because if nothing of you is truly yours, then there is nothing left to defend, nothing left to lose, and only one left to love. We shared this carefully, and within its limits. What you do with it, whether you let it stay an argument or let it become a mirror, is between you and the one casting the shadow.